Thank you, Mr. President. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said that the UPR has the potential to promote human rights in the darkest corners of the world. Iraq is one of these dark corners. Reviewed in 2010, the UPR highlighted many of the violations occurring in Iraq, but regrettably, progress stalled there. Without an effective follow-up mechanism, the UPR's potential to promote human rights is significantly diminished, and countries like Iraq can continue to ignore their obligations. Iraq received several recommendations on human rights in its judicial system, freedom of expression, eradicating torture, and arbitrary arrest and detention, and combating corruption and impunity, amongst many others. Iraq accepted these recommendations, but 3 years on, violations continue. Numerous countries recommended the respect of international standards when applying the death penalty, but executions continue at high rates, with 17 people executed on 19 August alone. Death sentences are imposed for crimes not considered most serious crimes, without fair trials, and based on confessions extracted by torture. Secret prisons remain in use, and thousands are detained without charges, due process, and in inhumane conditions. Corruption and impunity are stronger than ever. The UPR also allows states to declare actions taken to improve human rights in their countries. The Iraqi government takes pride in announcing its constitution's protection of freedom of expression and assembly, but it exists only on paper. The victims of al-Hawija prove this. The Prime Minister and his officials always equate demonstrators with terrorists, and in a speech on 18 August, the Prime Minister promised to end all demonstrations against the political process in Iraq and declared that, as was done in Egypt, his government could end all demonstrations in less than 1 hour. UPR recommendations to incorporate human rights into its anti-terrorism operations fell on deaf ears. A new campaign named Martyrs' Revenge led to the arbitrary arrest of 1,500 people and the deaths of dozens in August alone, and the Prime Minister has stated that the campaign will continue indefinitely. Mr. President, the Iraqi government's failure to implement its accepted recommendations demonstrates its unwillingness to uphold its obligations under the UN Charter and makes evident the criticalness of establishing an effective follow-up mechanism for the UPR. I thank you, Mr. President.